Hello guys, welcome to Talkie Doki, and this is my quick and concise review of the Monsgeek M6. So finally, Monsgeek is able to release an Alice layout, and as you all know, this is one of my favorite layout. It does take quite some time to adjust to the layout, but once you're adjusted, it's really pleasing. The Alice and Arisu layout is really pleasing to use, especially for those long typing sections. In my office, in my work, in my clinic, I do have a Alice keyboard as my daily driver. It did take quite some time before Monsgeek decided to dive into the layout, but boy oh boy, it did not disappoint. The M6 is really a beautiful keyboard inside and out. I really love the design. And this is not your typical design. This one is very boxy, and it's a box design that does not follow your typical Alice curvature in this part, which some of the users have pointed out if it causes problem in long-term usage, since there's a ridge over here that kinda goes in the way of your hand. But to be honest, it does not. I've been using it for quite some time now, several days before doing this review, and I see no problem. But then again, that could just be me. Alright, so I won't dive into the details because, like your typical Monsgeek keyboard, this keyboard is basically the same as your other Monsgeek keyboards. The only difference is the layout, and so it suffers the same weaknesses, the same strengths. I have a lot of detailed review. I've reviewed almost all the Monsgeek M series keyboards, and again, going back to the very simple point that these are bang for the buck keyboard. You get a bare bones full aluminum kit with everything that you need. It's wired. It doesn't have a wireless connectivity, but aside from that, everything that you need to build your first custom keyboard, it's here in the Monsgeek at a very appealing price point. This one is sold at 5,699 pesos over here in the Philippines. There's nothing to complain. It does have some weaknesses. There's a hollowness here and there, so this keyboard, like all other budget keyboards, would require a force break mod. But other than that, nothing else to complain. Alright, other components of the build is we have the Akko V3 CS Crystal Pro switch. Really awesome. I love how they feel. They are super smooth. No need to lube and film these switches. They are 3-pin switches, which means it will be compatible with most keyboards. And the sound profile is more on the thocky, deeper sound profile. So if you're into that, then you can consider these switches, and the price is very appealing as well, as 1,490 pesos for 90 pieces already. That's really hard to beat. All right, the probably downside of this keyboard, for my personal preference, is that they're too light. They have an operating force of 43 grams, which for my taste might be a bit light. All right, and moving forward, let's talk about these Akko white on block building blocks keycaps. So Akko has been diving into MDA profile for quite some time, releasing a lot of profile keycap designs. There's the building blocks, there's the cream, and now they release this white on black. Again, for the price, you can't go wrong with Akko. Alright, these are double shot PBT keycaps, really crisp and clean legends, really nice design, super smooth. I love the feeling, I love the sound profile. It can go head to head with your more expensive keycap set, and the kitting is awesome. You can use these keycaps for almost any layout at a 2,000 peso price point. That is crazy. The only downside, probably again, goes back to preference, is that MDA is not my cup of tea. I prefer the cherry profile. I prefer a more slanted layout when typing, but other than that, it's really good. All right, so conclusions. The M6 is a super good keyboard. You can't go wrong with it if you like to try and dive into your Arisu layout. Monsgeek have asked me what I would want to see in their future releases, and I have said this in the channel over and over again. The Monsgeek series is really good. In fact, the M1 was one of the top keyboard selections for 2022 in my channel. The problem is, again, and I've told this to Monsgeek, and I'm telling everyone, the problem is I feel that it's at the point that there's no more innovation, and I don't blame Monsgeek. It's I think the problem of the whole hobby right nowadays is that you don't get much innovations anymore. Even the group buy and higher end releases keyboard, the only thing I think you're paying for right now are design, aesthetics, and brand name. But other than that, the keyboard for the past few years, the releases of the keyboards, if you're particular with the sound and with the feel, just like me, and not too much on the aesthetics, there's no keyboard in the market right now that really excites me. So I'm still waiting for that keyboard to be released that would really excite me and say, oh wow, I'm gonna get this keyboard. I'm gonna participate in the group buy of this keyboard. But what they're doing is really releasing keyboards that are awesome at a lower price point, awesome but nothing too much new, which is not a bad thing. It's really good for the community. So a lot of people could enjoy those higher end keyboards of 2 years ago at a very much lower price point nowadays. So that's really good. All right. So what changes do I like from Monsgeek? I'd like them to adjust the height of their keyboard and the angle. So the height and the keyboard and typing angle of most Monsgeek keyboards nowadays pretty much requires you to use a wrist rest. For most people, for most users, you would be required to use a wrist rest. It's just that I'm used to typing without a wrist rest, but if you're not used to it, this might be a bit tiring. I would like also Monsgeek to experiment more on different mounting designs, different aesthetic designs of their keyboard. And again, might be asking too much because again, Monsgeek is targeting the beginners, targeting the entry-level, mid-level enthusiasts. So it might be asking too much, but a year ago, they did the impossible. A year ago, they released a full aluminum keyboard at a price point. And this year, they also released a full kit, the M1W, which is very awesome, at, again, a competitive price point. So why not? Maybe Monsgeek will hear us out. Maybe they would release a new design from the M series, or maybe they would create a new series altogether with a better design, better mounting style, better plate selection, probably introduce an internal weight. I think they can do that. All right. Other than that, good job Monsgeek. Good job Monsgeek. Good job Akko. This is a nice build. I wouldn't hesitate to recommend this to people looking for such layouts, such switches, or such keycaps. So this is Talkie Dokie. I hope you find this review useful. In my next few reviews, I'd be shying away more from keyboard straight and direct review and going more into opinionated reviews. I'm not sure if you guys would like that. What do I mean by opinionated reviews? Opinionated reviews on the hobby. My next video will probably be on the topic of foams. So keyboard foams. Let me know in the comment, what do you think about it? Are you for or against using foams in your keyboards, especially the PE foam? Well, that's it for now. Let's keep it at that. And I hope to see you guys in the next video.